Here's what I remember, though I have to admit that there's every chance that over the years these memories have become fuzzy. Growing up in New Jersey, there were a grand total of 10 television stations that the antenna on the roof of our house could pull in. The New York and Philadelphia affiliates of the big three networks ABC, NBC, and CBS, PBS, and the UHF channels, WPHL 17, WWOR 48, and Philly 57. For maybe 6 or 7 of you watching, that just brought back a flood of memories. I'm not sure which of the UHF channels it was that showed Bad People as a mid-Saturday creature feature, but I'd like to believe it was Philly 57, mostly because they always seem to be changing their programming constantly. You could consult the free television guide that came in the Sunday newspaper, but when you tuned in, well, it was dealer's choice. You might get a hockey game, an old black and white Western TV show, or an early 70s horror flick. You just never knew. Gen Z, imagine if there was a streaming service that would just play a random video no matter which thumbnail you clicked on. That was Philly 57, or at least how I remember it. UHF channels gave me my first taste of a lot of movies, from Grizzly to The Boy Who Cried Werewolf to The Vampire Lovers, albeit that last one severely trimmed for television. Videotapes would change the playing field in a couple of years, but back in those days you were grateful for what you got. Unless, that is, they gave you Bat People. And to be clear, Bat People is nowhere near the worst film you'll ever see. No, it's probably not even in the list of the worst 100 movies you'll waste precious moments of your short life watching. It's worse than that. Bat People falls into that very shallow pool of films that I call amnesia movies. In other words, you'll remember nothing about it 10 minutes after it finishes playing. The reason that this particular amnesia movie is a classic of that regrettable subgenre is that I'm absolutely sure that I watched it many, many times on Philly 57 or whichever UHF channel paid whatever cheap royalty fee to broadcast it. And every time it was like the first time, because there's just a weird nothingness to the movie that makes it impossible to latch onto. It may not help that the movie has a slew of alternative titles, including Angel of Fear, Winged Death, It Lives by Night, and even, wait for it, It's Alive. The plot is something about a man and his wife who hike into a cave and the dude gets bitten by a bat. And then he sweats a lot in bed, and his wife starts staring directly into the camera with big watery eyes, and he starts to change into a Batman. Not into Batman the crime fighter, but a man-bat hybrid. Eventually she becomes a Batwoman hybrid too, I think, maybe. And they go hang out upside down back in that cave in the end, or something, maybe, I don't really remember. You have to wonder why David Cronenberg didn't remake this instead of The Fly. It would have had to be cheaper to get the rights than the classic Fox monster flick. Now, it's entirely possible that someone out there had a great time with this film and would recommend it heartily. I mean, are you watching Dan Shine? But the truth is, if there's anything redeeming in the film's 95-minute runtime, it's elusive to me. Even the actors seem to be bored with the proceedings. Stuart Moss, the man with batty tendencies, had a crazy career spanning Hitchcock's Topaz, the hilariously underwhelming epic Raise the Titanic, and guest starring on every television series you've seen, from the original Star Trek to Perry Mason to Hogan's Heroes. With a filmography like that, I'm sure he didn't remember anything about this waste of time either. Moss's real-life wife, Marianne McAndrew, played his wife in the film. Like her husband, her role spanned from Hello Dolly to the TV reunion movie Growing Up Brady. I can only hope that their marriage was more exciting than Bad People. Oh, and for the record, the film was directed by Jerry Jameson, who directed every damn thing on network television for 35 years or so, from The Mod Squad to Hawaii Five-0 to Touched by an Angel. I'm sure he has stronger memories of his stint on Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman than Bat People. If you're up to the task of trying to maintain some kind of memory of this film, you can buy the spiffy Blu-ray remaster from Scream Factory. I can't quite understand how that would be money well spent, but you do you. More reasonably, you can turn it off after 10 minutes for free on Tubi and turn your attention to drying paint or water before it boils,